Good morning. I'm still outside. It's still Saturday. It's still cold. My hands are getting cold, but I wanted to do this one additional video here before I go back inside and warm up. Today's topic is going to be, it's time to rewrite your story. And what I mean by that is we all have our story. We all have a story about our past, our childhood, perhaps our traumas, perhaps our, symptoms coming about, symptoms, pains. Sometimes we can point back to our childhood and go, yep, that's exactly why I'm screwed up. Other times we go, my childhood wasn't that bad, and I don't really understand why I'm hurting. And whatever that is, we now have these chronic, ongoing symptoms or pains, and that becomes our story. And sometimes that becomes our identity. And what I will encourage you to do is suggest that you decide that your past does not dictate your future, right? And I'm not minimizing past, and I'm not minimizing some of the traumas many of us have gone through in our lives. And I'm not dismissing the fact that sometimes our bodies, our brains, our nervous systems are really in a high state of disarray because of the things we've gone through. But if you're the type who constantly refers to my trauma, my nervous system's really screwed up, my trauma, and that's the story you tell yourself and others all the time, it's going to keep you locked and stuck in that place. And so that is your story. And it's a true story. And it's a legitimate story. And what happened is, in some cases, in many cases, awful. But I will suggest to you that hanging on to that story and retelling it over and over again is what actually keeps that story going. So imagine yourself sitting down and saying, okay, so I'm going to write the story of me. And it has all of these trials and tribulations before, sometimes some joy, sometimes not, right? But how do you want the end of your story to be written, right? Do you want the story to continue with suffering, with being lost in our thoughts and obsession over the past and the traumas? Or do you want it to be kind of a story of change, a story of creation, a story of stepping out of the past into the new, a story of, I'm stuck looking for the right word, but just basically victory, basically overcoming our past and creating a new. So I will challenge you to think about that. If you are writing a screenplay about you, and it needs to have a happy, victorious, ending where you overcome all the horrific shit that's happened to you, what would that story look like? And I will encourage you to start visualizing that and maybe even writing it down, because I do believe that all of us have a story. And if our story has been kind of shitty so far, or it's been okay and then took a turn for the worse with the symptoms and pain and this TMS crap, it's time to write the rest of our story. And just know that by adopting some of the things I teach and some of the other TMS experts teach, and realizing that you're okay and that emotions are safe, and getting the right mindset that, the symptoms don't matter and I'll be fine. Like, that's part of the story. But what's the rest of your story look like? What's your victory? Overcome this. You can. You will. You're on the right path. You are absolutely in the right place. So I believe it's time to, rewrite our stories a little bit. I'm not saying go back into the past and get out an eraser, but moving forward, getting present and moving forward, we can create a new ending to the story where you overcome. and things can turn around for you. And things can get really damn good. I mean, I went from 13 years of pain, a lot of struggling, marriage that fell apart, and, took a while, but I've basically rewritten my story. I'm in this beautiful property with these woods behind me. I go kayak fishing. I'm renting a lake house for the month of June. Got a nice girlfriend, a great girlfriend. Nice is not a strong enough word. I got a great girlfriend. My family's healthy. Everything's good. And I feel great physically. So you can rewrite your story. I was a pretty sad sap not that many years ago, where I was still hurting. The marriage was falling apart, and it was just really pretty ugly. But, through just continuing to move in the right direction, I've rewritten my story, and I see a very positive future for myself. So you can rewrite your story too. Maybe it's time to sit down and do just that. Anyway, I hope you guys found this encouraging, uplifting. If somebody you know could use this, please share it. Thumbs up, like it, and I guess we'll talk to you soon. My hands are freezing, so I got to go in and warm up. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.